Hey, this is WoW Vision here, and today I'll be leveling a Blood DK from 80 to 85. This is a video about the fastest way I found to level, and so that you can get to the max level 85 and start things like Arena and Raiding. It's my 4th level 85, and this time I started the expansion for the first time by going to Mount Hijau. It's got to be the most interesting questline I've done. There's a lot of gimmicky quests, and it's a lot of fun. During this commentary, I'm going to try and put forward my leveling techniques and the fastest way I find to level. This is through pretty much pure questing to start with, and doing battlegrounds and dungeons if I get bored. In my opinion, of course, the fastest way to level is questing, and then it goes dungeons and then battlegrounds. As dungeons and battlegrounds do give XP for finishing them, they are useful if you get bored of questing on your own and you want to interact with other players. But it's dungeons before battlegrounds, as if you do lose a battleground you get basically nothing for it, and some battlegrounds go on for at least half an hour. It's doing the same thing over and over again. It does get boring. It's important to mix quests with dungeons and dungeons with battlegrounds so that it doesn't get monotonous and you have more fun leveling. Although during the level 80 to 81 it is much faster if you do pure questing, as at this point you are undergeared, and you normally find teams that are undergeared, which makes it hard to win battlegrounds and also makes it hard to complete the dungeons quickly. When I quest, I tend to go to an area, pick up all the quests, go off, do them all before returning and getting the next set. I also make sure that I don't overlap quests and kill more than I need to. For example, if you have a quest to kill a certain amount of guys and a quest to pick up a certain amount of things, you can normally do them at the same time, as there's normally guys guarding the certain things. It's important not to overkill, and as grinding doesn't give you much XP and it wastes a lot of time. As a Blood DK in a tank, I found it easier to do the killing quests, as you could round a lot of players up at the same time and kill them quickly. It also helps with soloing bosses. I chose Blood DK as I don't have a tank character yet, and I would like to do the heroics and the Cinderlari dungeons as a tank, and get the reward bags for queuing as a tank. When trying to complete quests as fast as possible, it's a good idea to not actually read the content, it's just to accept it and then use the in-game quest helper to just locate the areas you need to go to. Some people say that this ruins the game. I don't get the full potential out of it. I don't know the storyline while I'm questing, and I don't know why I'm doing it or who I'm doing it for. This doesn't really bother me, as I play the game to get to 85 to do mainly arena, as I enjoy player versus player because it's challenging. I also enjoy doing raids and things like Basin of Twilight and Blackrock Descent. Getting back to Mount Hijau, I managed to get from level 80 to 82. First level took me an hour and a half, as it's only 1.6 million XP, and there's an abundant amount of quests to start with. Second level took me 3 hours, as it's 2.1 million XP, and there's less quests to be found. Close to the end of the Mount Hijau questline, there's a quest where you're on a winged mount and you can propel yourself forward with a lance. It's got to be my favourite quest so far out of the whole game, as it takes a while to get control of the bird, but it's really fun. Also, when questing, it's important to do it as fast as possible while retaining pretty much full health, so you can move on quickly. This is pretty easy as a Blood DK, as they have a lot of self-healing. It's also important to use cooldowns to your full potential, so that they get their full time on targets and they are as useful as possible. As you level, it's important to get to know your class well, as most classes have interrupts. This is important to use them on casters to minimise damage, so you can do bigger pulls and bigger AoE knockdown. However, when fighting casters, it's hard to pull them into groups unless you've got moves which silence or death grip. Although in most areas you're unlikely to find pure casters, they're normally melee with caster mechanics, and so they will run up to you. Also, when doing areas, it's good to get the achievement for doing the certain amount of quests in that area. This tells you that you've pretty much finished all the quests there and finished the quest line. However, in Mount Hijau, you get the achievement quite a bit before you actually finish the chain. It's good to finish the quest line as you come up against Ragnaros, which is a fun fight. In this fight, I actually managed to die. I don't really know what's happening, as I'm not really paying much attention to the game, and the actual scene should be coming up about now, where you run down with some god characters from Mount Nigel, which you've activated during the quest line, and you get a massive damage boost and healing during the fight. I actually have to res and run back in. By this time, not much had happened, and I can still continue the fight. But as I get him down to 10% health, I actually disconnect, and so I don't know what happens to him, if he dies or if he gets teleported somewhere, which is a bit of a bummer, and I couldn't really bother to do it all over again, so I'll have to get back to techniques of leveling. I've actually heard that there's a guy who's managed to get from 1 to 85 without killing anything. He's done this through pure mining and herbalism, as you get XP for every mine or every herb you pick up. He called himself Peace something. I thought this was quite interesting, and it must have taken him years to actually do it. Before I actually started this video, I made a note of how many quests, battlegrounds, dungeons, kills, gold, and my playtime so far, so that I could record the actual time it takes me and what I actually do to get the final 5 levels. If this video does prove useful, I'm probably going to do 1 to 80 with either a resto shaman or a hunter. This is just more leveling guides, just to give people a better idea of how to do it and what zones are probably best to use. The next zone I enter is Deep Home. I've done this on every character, and I'm quite familiar with the quest line and where to go for each quest. This is why it didn't take me long to do level 83. It took me 3 hours 40 minutes, and it was double XP this time and took 4 million. It's probably one of the fastest times I've actually done. I actually got lucky as I joined a couple of battlegrounds with a level 85, pretty much fully tier 11 geared, and he was tanking it in DPS gear, so we ran through it like really quickly, and we did about 3 of them, which was fast and useful XP. I haven't really got much footage of Deep Home as it's not a really interesting place. It's just a lot of elementals fighting, and there's not many cinematic fights or clips you can watch. I skipped through and managed to get 2 levels out of Deep Home and ended on 84, just in 84, and level 84 took me 4 hours 10 minutes, as this is 5.2 million XP. During this time I did manage to get the quest achievement and finish the whole quest line in Deep Home, to the point where it's at peace and the elements have won the battle. Again, I tried to complete the quest as fast as possible. This is by grabbing as many as you can and going out and doing them in one set really quickly. It's also important to get around to each quest very quickly. Getting epic flying at level 70 is good, but it does cost around 4,500 gold. So if you don't have a rich alt or main character, then you'll have to stick with 150% flying, which it does take a lot of time to get around. I had to do it with this character as I've run out of gold on pretty much all my characters now. Finally, at 84, I went back to Stormwind, completed the storming quests so that I could go to Twilight Highlands. At this point I needed 9.1 million XP, which is almost double the last level, so this one level was going to take a lot longer. The leveling was really slow and painful, but I managed to get through it at the end, just spamming dungeons as tank or spamming battlegrounds. I only managed to do around 100 quests in Twilight Islands. This is one of the reasons that Cataclysm is so good, as they've introduced good quest lines. They've also updated old quest lines to make them more. I hope you found this useful, and I will be uploading more videos on leveling guides and more arena and battleground gameplays. So if you want to see these, then please subscribe.